Wow. Let me tell you something right here. Woo! You want to talk about a Monday Night Raw tonight? I got a lot to say about that. Woo! We'll take the shades off for a minute. I'm going to come back and get to that in a second. But I'm going to say a very interesting Raw tonight. Especially in the end, which I don't think anybody saw coming. I don't think nobody saw this coming. And I was very shocked to see. Let me tell you that right now. Something really interesting happened at the end of Monday Night Raw, which I'm sure everyone had their jaw dropped, and let's just know it's going to set up for a WrestleMania match. So WrestleMania may have just gotten a little bit interesting right now because they haven't really been building nothing up for it other than the obvious 2 or 3 matches, but we're going to come back to it later on. But first off, it's a lot of news to get through. I got a lot of things to say. I got a couple things to say from Friday. But let's kick it off because, you know, WWE's been advertising this since a few days ago. So this Monday Night Raw, you know, this was a big one. It was very newsworthy. Let's get this straight right off the back. A very newsworthy Raw. Number one, before I say anything, we get to this. Number one, Atlanta, way better freaking crowd, okay? I'm glad they did not do any of this stuff last week in that fucking bumblefuck town of Lafayette, New Orleans and everything. I'm sorry, Louisiana, not New Orleans. Lafayette, Louisiana, because it would have looked really horrible last week. First off, Atlanta GA, you did a great job. At least this crowd had some life tonight and were interesting, and they actually cared about the show. I don't know what was up with that crowd last week and how dead it was, but we're in something better. But the first thing, let's kick it off. The biggest, most likely the biggest news story, or one of the biggest news stories of the night, was the return of Roman Reigns, which was announced a few days ago, which they went back and played the clip back in October. So it's been about, was it October, November, December, January, February, about 4 months since we've seen Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns was going to be here to address the crowd about, you know, an update about his health with the whole leukemia situation. And, you know, coming into this, I know there was a lot of chatter over the weekend. I know some people had many different opinions on this. A lot of people really believed this was a work and everything, that, you know, they were doing this to get Roman over because, you know, if you've been looking online in the past few months, of course, you know, we've seen pictures of Roman. He looked healthy, looked good. He still looked jacked to the gills and everything. And I know he was doing a movie with The Rock and stuff, but a lot of people have really questioned if his whole leukemia thing was a work, because like, I'm reading this shit and I'm saying, I don't think WWE was ever gonna fake a sickness. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't put it past this company. You've seen them do heinous shit in the past. Don't get me wrong, they've done some very horrible stuff, and I would have been surprised if they did this too. But I don't think Roman would have really agreed to this anyways. I don't think anybody, like, come on, like, cancer ain't nothing to fuck with, people. Let me get that straight right now. Cancer is nothing to fuck with. I don't care whatever type it is. It's not a joke. But I never really believed it was a work. And like when I read about it, you know, with him coming back, all I just want to know was this. As long as he comes back, we just want to know about his health. Let's, you know, make sure he's doing good. And that was the main part. His health comes first, okay? That's before anything, if he was going to wrestle again, that. His health comes first. But him coming out there, you know, making his entrance. He had a new shirt. I know that. We fight, we overcome, we believe, which I'm already hearing a lot of things about that right now with the shirt, about him having some merch with this. But Roman got a very big ovation. Like I said, when he came out there, the guy was emotional, you know, slapping, you know, hands with the crowd, hugging some fans. I saw David Arquette out there. There were some celebrities. I believe his wife was right there. I think that was his wife right there. Yeah, I believe it was his wife. I believe The Rock's mom was right there, and Roman's mom also, which, you know, he hugged them. The fans chanted Roman. You know, he just continued to embrace the crowd and, you know, just hug his family members. And when he got in the ring, they chanted his name. People chanted welcome back to Roman. And, you know, he's probably gonna say this a lot, but he thanked the fans chanting, "You deserved it." He missed everybody, and he was serious who he missed. And this is like no other job. The fans even chanting, "This is your yard," but he said, "This is our yard." And he didn't know what was gonna happen when he first said this, the whole announcing his leukemia back in October. And so he said he had faith in God and everything, and he didn't know what was gonna happen, but because it was a big secret, he didn't know how people would react to it. But the outreach he got was incredible, from people that do like him, didn't like him, people outside the WWE, fans, celebrities. And let's be honest here, when he did announce that, everybody did support him. It didn't really matter what wrestling company you were from or anywhere, they did support him. Come on, New Japan even said something about it when the whole leukemia thing was first announced. But he just always wondered what was going to happen. And, he just thanked the fans for all the support they given him in the past few months. And that has gave him a purpose now. And, he said everyone's purpose in WWE is to climb that mountain. But he just wanted to do this every night. And, he talked about having the platform he was on now to raise awareness, especially for WWE. Fans even still chanting Roman. And, pretty much, he was saying all this, just thanking the fans and stuff for the support. But he says, we're all here for an update, right? And, he said the announcement, he said he was swinging for the fences, but he hit a home run. And he was, honored to just really announce that, he said you got to walk for it, let's just wait on it. But he is in remission. So that's just great news. That's wonderful news. It's incredible news that Roman is in remission, and the fans they loved it. People said the big dog was back, and like I said, he just welcomed them. Fans chanting welcome back again. So that's just great news, man. That's just wonderful news. Okay, because and there was no telling when this guy was gonna come back, and his thing, we don't know when he's gonna wrestle again. I don't know, and we probably saw a little quick preview tonight. I will say this, Roman did look good when he came out there. Did it look like he lost some weight? I'd say a little, maybe. He looked the same to me, to be honest, but it did look like he did lose a little bit of weight. I just, judged the pictures in the past few months, he still looked jacked to the gills, like I said earlier. I could be wrong, but he still pretty much looked the same to me. But that's just wonderful news, though, man, that he was able to stop this cancer, leukemia, and put it back in remission. So it's fucking great. You gotta admit that. I don't care what you think about this. It's just glad that the man is healthy. He's doing good, and he will be back soon. And as he walked up the ramp, Seth Rollins came out, and he hugged him and everything. And people said welcome back. So like I said, that's, I know people thought this was going to set up some match. It was going to be some angle for WrestleMania. I never really thought it was going to be. The biggest thing that only people want to know was how his health was doing, and his health is doing great. And he's put the cancer back and, leukemia back in remission. So it's fucking great, all right? It really is. One thing I will say, I was surprised Dean Ambrose was not out there to, help celebrate, with Roman and everything, and Seth, because Seth came out and celebrated with him. I was actually surprised Ambrose didn't come out to be a Shield thing. I know some people kind of putting on that when they tried to make an angle out of this a few months ago with Dean kind of talking bad about both of them when he turned his back on the Shield. So I don't know, they're still playing up to the heel role, but I actually expected both of them to come out there when just to celebrate with Roman. But we're gonna get back into that later on in the show, though. Once again, NXT call-ups are back again. Since I hear this was a Vince caller bringing them up last week, they're back again. Aleister Black and Ricochet went against the Revival, who had no entrance. At least they had some video packages for Ricochet and Aleister Black in split screen. The Revival already in the ring and tried to attack from behind. Like I said, the match was pretty much came back from commercial and everything. It's not much to say this because I think it was like 2 minutes, and Black won with the black mask on was it Scott Dawson for the win. So good for them. NXT, of course, to showcase them with both Black and Ricochet. The Revival, which makes no sense to me. So let me get this straight. The Revival won the tag team titles 2 weeks ago, right? they lose to Gargano and Ciampa. First week they have the titles, and now second week in a row they pretty much got jobbed out to NXT here again by Black and Ricochet. I don't really understand that. It's almost like in reverse now. Before, the Revival were losing all the time when they didn't even have the titles. Now that they're the champions, they get their ass beat by everybody again and haven't really won a match ever since they won the tag titles, I believe. So what is the point now? I don't get this. I know they're showcasing NXT and here and there, but I don't see why we're putting the expense of the tag team champions, and then they pretty much got jobbed out here. Okay, they just got jobbed out again, so it wasn't really nothing long of this match. They next went to Charlie Caruso. Caruso's in the back. Talk about the Revival have lost again 2 weeks in a row. Some people, I'm seeing now people think that Black and Ricochet are going to be a tag team. I don't really see that right now. So I'm assuming they're done with NXT, right? Because I believe there's a video over the weekend. I think it was yesterday that, Black said he was done with NXT. So I guess he's now part of the main roster. I may be wrong, so please someone come correct me if that is true in that. Ricochet, maybe the same thing. I don't know, because I thought these guys would still be on NXT, but maybe they are being called up, like, actually for good on the main roster. But hey, what do I know? But somebody tell me if that's true in that. But like I said, Charlie Caruso then talked to Baron Corbin in the back and talked about he talked about Roman and everything, and Corbin talked about pretty much Caruso talked about Corbin saying that Corbin said that he wished Roman would never return during the whole leukemia bout, but Corbin says he never said those things. They were going to play the footage and everything, but Corbin said it was taken out of context. It's been a lot of stress managing Raw, and she said, so you're trying to claim that you being the general manager was more tougher than Roman battling leukemia. And Corbin pretty much says, you better hope our paths don't cross, which pretty much tells me it's going to be a match again with these two. Listen, I don't really want to see that match because we saw before Roman kind of, went out of action before all this happened. But I don't really want to see it again with both of these two going against each other. But it's going to come, so watch out for that. Also, there was a lot of guests coming in to, Ric Flair's birthday tonight. Shawn Michaels was backstage and everything. And pretty much Johnny Gargano was there, too, as he kind of showed up, NXT. So there you go. Elias, who came out to do his regular thing. What happens next? Do we see Grandpa Simpson? Lacey Evans comes out, walks down the ramp, walks right back again. Why is this still a thing? I don't know. She's Grandpa Simpson now. That's what I'm going to keep calling her until something different happens. Before Elias could say anything else, again, Dean Ambrose comes out. What does he do? He's in a festive mood, so he wants a rematch against Drew McIntyre in a no disqualification match. But Elias was going to play his guitar. Ambrose got in the ring, and he said, you're trying to play him off stage like it's the Academy Awards. And Elias said I would be getting a standing ovation if this was the Oscars and everything. By the way, good job for Spider-Man. I'm glad that won an Oscar, though. I don't watch the Oscars, but I'm kind of glad they won one. And Black Panther and also, so yeah, good shit though. But like I said, with Elias, pretty much talking about Ambrose. He was gonna sing a song about Atlanta, and then talked about the Falcons that win the Super Bowl. Ambrose was gonna sing a song then. They include some dirty deeds. He pretty much ended dirty deeds on Elias. They continue to job out Elias to everybody. I don't know what he has done, but it feels like they just kill this guy every fucking week now. We know everyone interrupts him, but now at this point, it just looks like the guy is getting jobbed out at this point. Okay, what is it? 1 week it's Road Dogg and Jeff Jarrett. Then it's the Lucha House Party coming to mess with him, and Black kicks his head off last week, and now Dirty Deeds, Dean Ambrose takes him out. So there you go. So I will say that. But I guess I'm assuming Dean Ambrose face at this point, right? I'm gonna assume that. So I don't know, but I'm assuming that now. Next, Ronda Rousey and Natalya went against the entire Riot Squad. Let Listen, this match itself, I will say Ronda got a mixed reaction coming out there. There were some Becky chants here and there. But as the match went on, Rousey was pretty much about to get the pin on Logan. She hit the Piper's Pip and was going to do the armbar thing, which I don't know why we keep jobbing the Riot Squad out to Ronda almost 3 weeks in a row now. We killed Ruby Riot last week 2 times in a row. So let's kill the rest of the squad too. But next thing you know, Kill Bill Becky comes out. Like this 1 minute she's Stone Cold, now it's Kill Bill. But Becky comes out, she punches Natalya to the ground, which ended up in a disqualification. So DQ there. Rousey starts to fight with Lynch, which she actually took the crutch from her, and then she loses the crutch back to Becky for some reason. I thought that whole brawl was kind of odd, to be honest. Something about that looked strange. Like, it wasn't a bad brawl in a way, but something about it kind of felt, I don't know, something about it kind of felt lame. And didn't they do this already at Elimination Chamber with a pull apart and brawl and security? Because next you know, you got security coming out, referees then, and then what happens? Ronda's beating up the security guys after that, and the cops, well, I'm sure independent wrestlers really, come out and take Becky away and dragging her off, handcuffing her, saying, they robbed me, you should be arresting them. You should be arresting them. And excuse me, you should be arresting them. Ronda was still in the ring then. And pretty much she wanted Vince McMahon out there. She demanded Vince to come out to reinstate Becky Lynch, but Stephanie came out then. As Rousey said, you need to reinstate Becky now, but Stephanie said, your match is against Charlotte. It's not against Becky. She's been arrested, and she's gone from this point. Rousey pretty much told Stephanie that, you and your family can drop the charges. Okay, just drop them, right? I want this match, all right? I want it to go down, which make it a triple threat match. But we knew this was gonna be a triple threat match. But Rousey pretty much told her that you need to do what's best for business. Okay, do what the fans really want. I want to face both of them, and main event of WrestleMania, which they switch that around every week of who's the main event. But she says a triple threat match, which people somewhat chanted for. And Rousey pretty much told her that think about, man, if you do this match, think about the legacy you would have, and for your 3 daughters. And pretty much Stephanie said no, but Rousey pretty much didn't want it to, she said, I'm not going to take a no for an answer. But Stephanie said, I am your boss, okay? And Ronda pretty much says, you and your father, you know what you have to do. You need, if you love this company or whatever, or something. I'm trying to remember what she said here. But I know Stephanie said this is bigger than WWE. And Ronda says, you don't control me. I'm not some worker or anything. And I'm trying to go back. And Ronda said, I'm set for life. All right, she's got money, but this title, I'm not gonna carry this belt because this is supposed to mean something. It's just an accessory, okay? It's not even my style. So I know you guys make the decisions, but now I'm making the right decision. And she pretty much left the title. So I guess she just quit or relinquished the title or something, I'm gonna assume. As Stephanie pretty much looked at the title on the ground and wondering where this was gonna go. So I guess it's going to be a triple threat. Stephanie's going to reinstate her or something. And, I will say one thing with the Becky being arrested. Isn't this literally like the same Stone Cold? It's almost like they really are booking her mirror to Stone Cold, I'm feeling like. Because they've arrested Austin before, and he was doing the same thing, kind of coming out attacking. But now they're doing it with Becky now. And I know people are going to say this because they could have saved this for later tonight. And my prediction was really wrong on this. I'm sure everybody was going to predict this. So we're going to get into that part later on, because I don't think people really expect to see Becky early on, and probably expected to show up later in tonight instead of doing this thing now. As Stephanie and pretty much Triple H are walking with the title, looking confused. And I will say, for Ronda's promo, it was good, but you could tell she was very nervous and kind of jumbling the words together. I mean, this is what happens when you overscript people at WWE. And Ronda's not really the best at promos, but it just looked odd when she was talking to Stephanie at some point, that she was just trying to mesh all the words into one and trying to say it as quick as possible. It looked like I get what her promo was meaning, and it was getting across, but you could tell that she was just trying to memorize everything, whatever they wrote for Ronda, and just trying to get every word perfect, because you could see her stumbling and just kind of being very nervous trying to get the words out. So it was just something So it felt odd at one point with her talking to Stephanie, though. So it's like she was just trying to rush the words. They showed more video package for, Ric Flair's birthday with, green cards from Snoop Dogg and Stone Cold, which I wish they would have had him on this show. Would have been better. But what do we do later on? We got a lot of filler in this show, too. Jinder Mahal is out here, mad that he was not invited to Ric Flair's birthday, so he invite anybody down, whoever is part of his birthday. I'm wrestling to a match. What happens? Kurt Angle comes out, beats Jinder Mahal, German suplexes, angle slam, ankle lock. There you go. Why was this really a match? And then he put some German suplexes on the Singh brothers out there after that. I will say this. I'm glad Kurt Angle actually got a win for once instead of jobbing the guy out, kicking the shit out of him every week, losing the waiters and stuff. But Kurt actually getting the win. It was something good. It doesn't really mean much from, Jinder Mahal beating him, but at least he got a win. But was this match really necessary, though, when you think about it? Next thing you know, Alexa Bliss is back for her talk show, A Moment of Bliss. Why is this still going? And
sorry, I don't know that.
Yeah, not you. But pretty much, I'm wondering why is this still even going with Alexa Bliss and this this whole talk show thing? But her guest was going to be Finn Balor, and pretty much said she was going to take Rousey's place for WrestleMania and everything. But like I said, focused on Finn Balor. Balor came out with the Intercontinental Championship, but Bliss said, the downside about you is that it covers your abs, and, she wanted her to, air out the abs, but then she was going to make a deal. You show me your abs, and I'll show you. Next thing you know, Lio Rush comes out, and you could hear the immediate boos from the crowd that they were so pissed what they wanted to hear from Bliss. It's almost like, so let me see. I show you the abs. What you gonna show me? Tits, ass. I'm sure the fans were thinking that. I'm sure a lot of people were thinking that. One of the two. Like I said, tits, ass. They wanted to see some skin. I bet. Yeah, you could tell the crowd reacted to that. They reacted to that. Okay, come on, like you just know. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of funny though when they say, hey, let's make a deal. You show me the abs, and I'll show you. Boom. We don't even get to know. So I know what the fans and a lot of people were most likely thinking, and they'll never know what she was gonna show. So I'm sure we all would have loved to see it. Would have been hot, but it didn't happen. Lio Rush then came out and pretty much talked about this talk show as a sham. Balor doesn't deserve to be the champion, and that Bobby Lashley wants a title shot. And you know where to find them. And he said that Lashley's going to be preparing for Strowman tonight, and he says he's not leaving with that Intercontinental title. Well, Balor pretty much says, yeah, I think you're trying to win the title. You think you're better than him or something. How about a match right now? You accept the challenge, for a title shot. And Balor asked the crowd if you want to see it. They said, yeah. But Bliss pretty much said, he said, are you not man enough to do the job yourself, pretty much? And Rush says, I'm going to do it. And Bliss said, he didn't have time to prepare. And he was going to go prepare, but Bliss says, we don't have time. So the match is going to happen right now. So Alexa Bliss can book title matches now. Okay. Right off the fly, Alexa Bliss just booked the Intercontinental title match. Finn Balor versus Lio Rush. I don't know how she did it, but she booked the match.
Sure.
As for the match itself, it wasn't really that bad of a match. Like Finn Balor versus Lio Rush just sounds good. Anyways, I'm sure we saw this like last week or two before, but Balor pretty much ended up winning. Coup de grace for the win. So there you go. It wasn't a bad match though, but you knew Balor was going to win and everything, and Lio Rush loses again. For some reason, we had a segment with Bushwhackers 2.0, Heavy Machinery, and the Ascension, which the Ascension said was fresh meat, and that Otis was, dumpster diving for cheeseburgers. And Tucker says that Otis doesn't like it when you make fun of him. Otis showed up, and which he said that tuck it, and they try to say they said this about your cheeseburger, garbage, pig, and then he knocked both of them down. It says no one messes with Heavy Machinery, which why was this segment even needed? I have No idea, okay? But next thing you know, Bobby Lashley was arguing with Lio Rush in the back, pretty much saying he could trust him because he said you had one job. He said I was supposed to be getting that title match, but it didn't happen. Braun Strowman, he was getting ready for his match with Braun Strowman, which never ended up being into a match. It wasn't even that big of a brawl, to be honest, either, because Lashley attacked him from behind, and they pretty much, Lashley about to get the, I think that, that suplex he does, holding people into the air, but Strowman broke out of it and pretty much shoulder blocked both Lashley and Lio Rush, and then he says, I'm coming for all three of you, and, you would never forget, and Strowman pretty much walked off after that, which didn't make sense in a way since it wasn't a match, but, Lashley, McIntyre, and Corbin kicked the living shit out of Braun Strowman at Elimination Chamber and shield bombed him through a table, right? But for some reason, he beat Corbin last week in a table match, which I don't know why we did back-to-back for that, just for 50-50 booking, but he didn't really do nothing much to Lashley. He just knocked him down, and Lashley kind of got back up after that, and he was okay. So, I guess he just like, hey, I knocked you down. I'm still going to come after you. Again, you better watch out. You could have destroyed him like you did, Corbin there, but it's like, hey, I got you this time, but you better watch out for next time. So, why didn't you just kick the shit out of him when you had the chance and beat him in a match? So, what was the point of this? Strowman, I have no clue what they're doing on him, but they've taken a backseat on him a long time ago. Seth Rollins pretty much was talking to Caruso in the back, Charlie Caruso, and, talking about him going against Brock for the title at WrestleMania, but that's secondary right now because his brother is back, Roman, and, he's going to have an ice-cold beverage waiting for him, but he's going to go burn it down in a different way. Ric Flair ride, woo! And his wife, I don't know which number this is, was it Wendy, I believe, as, he pretty much walked, out of limo and said, woo! It was his birthday and everything. Next you know, Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose in a no disqualification match. For some reason, Dean Ambrose wears two belts so he can, get one to whip Drew McIntyre with then. Pretty much, both these guys brawl, trying to whip each other with belts throughout the match. Pretty much got into the outside then. McIntyre had the, he headbutted him to the outside then, and then he had the steel steps, but he tripped over them. Ambrose starts slamming his head into it, but before he could do anything else, I think he was going to hit a dirty deeds on top of it. Elias comes back, hits him with the Qatar then, and they put Ambrose back in the ring, and pretty much McIntyre hit with the Claymore kick and won. Next, Corbin and Lashley came out. So I guess all four of these guys are a team now. It was three, but now it is four of them as a team. Elias, Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley. And, they start beating up Dean Ambrose then. But Seth Rollins comes out with a chair. Roman Reigns' music hits then. Pretty much they go for both Corbin and Lashley that tried to attack him. Immediately, Roman hit him with a Superman punch on Lashley. Seth Rollins hit Elias with the curb stomp then, and Reigns speared, did his roar thing, and, he speared McIntyre after that, pretty much knocked him down. I guess the somewhat Shield stood together. Reigns and Rollins celebrated, but Dean Ambrose was still in the ring then, which, they didn't really, do anything from that. So, excuse me, but like I said, they didn't really do anything from there, help Ambrose up or anything, which they stood tall, but which this is gonna be another Shield reunion, which I feel like we doing these things too many times, and I swear these guys have the worst luck in this because of some freak accident or something goes down. We've done this many times before, so what do? We're gonna do the Shield thing again, folks. We're gonna get the Shield back together again. Do I really need to see this? I don't even know. Isn't Ambrose on his way out the door anyways? Because now what I'm seeing is it going to be one more Shield match before Dean Ambrose leaves when his contract expires, as everyone is talking about now? Because all I can see is right now it's going to be the Shield versus, Corbin, Lashley, McIntyre, and if we add Strowman and we make it an 8-man tag, they'll be going against Elias in that too, since, they Shield bomb Strowman back at Elimination Chamber. I feel like this may end up with an 8-on-8 match. Now, I know some people still calling this a work now because Roman actually did something in the ring tonight and, hit some of his moves, Superman punch and a spear, maybe just to test that he was still good in the ring. But, I didn't really have a problem with that. And the crowd went nuts when they saw Roman come out and attack, hitting his signature moves out there on everybody. But notice that they did not really help Ambrose up out there, because he did technically portray the Shield and everything a few months ago when him and Rollins won the titles, when Roman had to announce he was sick anyways. And then there was a whole feud with Seth and Ambrose, which didn't really lead anything later on because Dean Ambrose became Bane from Batman then, and it didn't really didn't live up to the hype it was supposed to be, and Ambrose's heel turn just felt very lackluster after that. But if you notice, they just looked at Ambrose, wondering, just pondering what they were going to do. But you notice it's going to end up into probably one more Shield thing if Dean Ambrose is really on his way out the company. Because now I don't see this really being long now if Dean, allegedly has, 2 more months left in his contract. So we'll see where this goes. But I can tell right now it's most likely going to be another Shield reunion. Bayley went against Nia Jax. I didn't really want to see this match in general, or nearly really even cared about this match in general. Bayley won with her elbow on Nia Jax because Sasha got involved and Tamina ran into the steel steps, which sets up their tag team match at Fastlane for the women's tag titles. So I'm not really sure. I'm actually surprised Nia Jax took the pin clean here, because I almost thought are they still getting a title shot or not? I don't know. And I'm sure we'll probably see a Tamina and Sasha Banks match next week. So I'm sure Tamina's gonna go over because we got to make this even somehow. So watch out. Now this is where I thought it was kind of weird because there's only 12-13 minutes left in the show, and I'm thinking, are we really gonna have to rush this Ric Flair thing? Because Raw doesn't go overtime anymore. Okay, they do not go overtime no more. We've noticed that. We already know that. It ends right at the 10 o'clock mark. So are we gonna rush this Ric Flair birthday party thing? Because they got wrestlers standing out on stage already. Triple H and Stephanie come out as they talked about everything that was going on tonight, from Roman coming back, making his triumphant return, putting leukemia back into remission, Rousey putting the title down, Becky getting arrested, and he talked about Triple H was doing putting Ric Flair over, and he brought out guests in NXT guy number 2 there, Shawn Michaels, HBK. Came out, which I feel like he was waiting for his pyro to hit. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat still looks good out there, I will say that. So Ricky was there. Kurt Angle, the Icon, Sting. It was actually nice to see Sting in a very, very long time. Even when he did his woo thing, he got a very big pop. Let me say that. We have not seen Sting. Like I said, it's been a very long time since I've really seen Sting on TV in a long time. Don't get me wrong, his company ended up fucking him over in the end, and burying the guy, if you ask me, when they brought him to WWE, because I could go on a whole rant on Sting, especially in his time in WWE, and I think it was a lot of bullshit in it, and I really feared what was good. I said this, I can even go back, you go look at old videos of me saying that when he left TNA to go over there, I knew they were going to fuck him over, and it ended up happening. Don't get me wrong, they still put him in the Hall of Fame, but I still do blame this company for really fucking Sting over, though. But pretty much the Icon Sting came out. Triple H pretty much had a big video package for the Nature Boy. Woo! The kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, jet flying, limousine riding, son of a gun, Ric Flair. Woo! Yes, 70th birthday. And they pretty much play video packages. 16-time world champion. I can go on a whole thing with Ric Flair from any company, from from the 80s to the 90s, WCW, WWE, TNA, if you want to go from there. I would love to. Jay Lethal came out, and like don't get me wrong, man. If we're gonna get to the point in a second with this show, but if it's one thing I can say with Ric Flair, and it's always great to see him and everything. By God, it would have been so fucking cool if they could bring Jay Lethal out and just do that whole shit they did TNA. That shit was fucking. I don't care what anybody says. You go watch that thing today. It is one of the most hilarious things you will ever see in wrestling in general. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. But as Triple H introduced Ric Flair. His music hit, but he didn't come out. Next thing you know, Batista was dragging a cameraman, and they're at Ric Flair's dressing room, and he tells the cameraman to wait there. He goes into Flair's dressing room, and we don't hear nothing. Pulls out Ric Flair, I guess like a dead body, and he says, "Hey, Hunter, do I have your attention now?" And he says, "Huh?" Triple H ran back then. Agents then were checking on Ric Flair, who was pretty much on the ground. I felt like he was corpsing at one point. Yeah, he was corpsing on the ground. I felt like he was laughing and everything because he's part of this angle. But this was nothing anybody really expected to the end. Now, I'm sure a lot of people said before. Let me point this out, too. We all thought Becky was probably going to come back later tonight and break out of jail and, get involved in this. But, come on, Charlotte wasn't even out there. I expected Charlotte to be out there during, Rick's birthday and everything because it's her dad. And I said it before. They're probably going to have, Charlotte, Becky hop out of somewhere and attack Rick and everything, which I didn't really believe was going to be a cake because it was just a regular-sized cake. Very nice cake, by the way, and a very custom-made WCW World Heavyweight Championship also, which looked really cool. And we all thought, she was going to come out and probably put the armbar on Rick and say, give me my title shot or I'm going to break this man's arm. And we all thought that was going to happen. But that's what we all expected. But this was unexpected, okay? Now, I knew Batista was going to be there and everything, that we would see some type of evolution. But we saw heel Batista, okay? We saw heel Batista, I'm assuming now. And Triple H, being worried and everything. Because if we go all the way back to Smackdown 1000, when Batista said, Triple H has done everything in this business, but you haven't beaten me. And we all knew what that was going to set up now. But now it looks like another seed has been, planted and everything. And this pretty much is going to set up their match for WrestleMania. So I will say things just got very, very interesting. And I do believe, in my opinion, they kind of wasted this whole Ric Flair celebration thing because it looked like they were just eating up more and more time. Now, come on, we only got 10 minutes left in the show and we're doing everyone's entrances. And it's almost like, man, it's only like 3 minutes. What's Rick going to do? Just say, hey, how you doing? Happy birthday. I'm glad everybody was here. And there you go. The show would have been over. It's like we don't go overtime anymore, okay? The show does not go, overtime. But this was a way, to this threw people in a different direction. Did I want to see probably a good celebration Ric Flair and have him cut some great promo out there? Hell yeah, I wanted to see him come out there and cut a promo. But we got something way bigger, which is gonna set up something, okay? Which I thought it was kind of weird when Triple H, and this thing when Batista attacked them, and Triple H like the only one running out, like everybody else was just standing there kind of wondering like, what do we do? We're not gonna check on Flair, but we're just gonna stand around. And Triple H Triple H Triple H is gonna be the only one that's gonna go help him up and stuff. So that's the thing from this. But like I said, it was that was unexpected. I don't think anybody saw this coming, and it was probably one of the most biggest. I would say it was a very interesting thing. No one saw it coming, and we got heel Batista, folks. So this now gonna make it official. And we knew there were rumors about Batista, anyways, for the past week or two now about him talking to Chris Jericho, wondering if Batista was going to go to AEW, because he was in talks with WWE and AEW and everything, to what I heard. But I kind of figured Batista would come back to WWE anyways, because he really does want that match with Triple H. And you kind of knew that now. If Batista went to AEW, I'm sure a lot of people would mark the fuck out, though, if that happened, and it would be insane. But I always kind of figured Batista would come back to WWE, okay? I really kind of mostly figured that, all right? But this now sets it up, folks. It's going to happen in WrestleMania. It looks like Batista versus Triple H. Watch out. It's going to be big. As for this show tonight, it was a very newsworthy show. I will say that. A lot of things happened. Of course, mostly the biggest thing on here was Roman Reigns coming back to announce, his return, and that he's, the whole cancer thing is in remission. So that was wonderful news to hear from there. Of course, the Ric Flair birthday bash celebration, which we really didn't get, since I felt like they just had to crunch everything almost 10 minutes at the time, and I really would have loved to see something. So that was a big thing. Heel Batista returning and, you know, turning heel. I knew he'd be back, but I didn't expect the heel turn to set up his match for Triple H, so it was unexpected, and I think it paid off well. So there you go. Once again, it was still a lot of filler throughout the show, I feel like, and everything, just from stuff with Kurt Angle and Jinder Mahal, or probably, you know, Bayley and Nia Jax, but it was, you know, set up the tag title match and everything. It was good to see Black and Ricochet out there, you know, bringing the NXT guys back. But once again, we buried the Revival because fuck the Revival. Do I really want to see another Shield reunion going against Corbin and them? Not really, but you know it's going to happen. But we all know this is going to set up a Shield thing, since they kind of left Ambrose out there wondering, you know, should they have, you know, celebrated with him also, even though they still came out and helped them and everything. I feel like Strowman could have came back and got all these guys, but he didn't really do nothing too, so that was kind of a waste also. So I'm just trying to go from, you know, bullet points of the show. The Ronda Rousey promo was really good with the whole Becky thing. I still think she rushed through her promo, you know, trying to stumble things together, but she did get across and to the point to where that's going, you know, winning a triple threat match at WrestleMania, which we all mostly knew anyways that was going to happen. So there you go on that. But, you know, like I said, the biggest things you could really take out of Monday Night Raw tonight was Roman Reigns, Ric Flair, birthday bash, so-called, and Batista. That's the biggest things I can tell you to take from that. So it was a very newsworthy show. It was a way better show than last week's bullshit that went on with that crowd last week. So this was just better by default, and it was a big newsworthy show, and Atlanta was a great crowd out there tonight, and no one didn't really expect what was going on, if you ask me. But like I said, I would say a good show on Monday Night Raw. Did shit drag on throughout the night? Hell yeah, the show drags on almost every week that you get bored with watching it half the time. But you know, that's the show tonight, folks. Really good, I will say that. But I'm gonna go from here. Comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought about Monday Night Raw tonight. You know, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. So I'm gonna get out of here. You know, it's me, the HOOD, coming here with the news and reviews. You know what I am, you know what I do. Keeping it cool, jumping in the pool. I don't know, it's like Mountain Dew. I gotta put on my shades one time, and just for the nature boy that's a happy birthday, and say, woo! So, I'm out of here. I will see you guys later. Peace out.